Okay, so for your very first test, these are going to be your test instructions just so that you know what to expect when you go into the assessment center, or what to expect when we're taking our very first test. So first, you need to go to D2L, and you will have a review, a paper review that's in D2L for you to work. So you can print that off and you can work it as many times as you want to. I plan to put the review in there, and then also probably post one that's like, I'll put a blank review and then also post one that's worked out so you can check your answers on, and work that before. That's what you'll need to know in order to, to do the exam. My reviews are pretty extensive as to what is actually on the test, so you should be able to just do that. Maybe look at some of your quizzes or something if you want to also. So then second, remember, you have to physically go to an assessment center in my Lone Star system, any of the campuses, to take your test. You will need to make sure that you have your ID and also your login for My Math Lab. So make sure, if you are like me and maybe save passwords or whatever, that you know what that password is when you go into the assessment center. So make sure you bring your ID. Make sure you know what your login for My Math Lab is. You can also bring a 4-function calculator. That means a calculator that does addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with you. They do not provide them, so you need to make sure that you bring a 4-function calculator with you to the exam. Now, you have the option. You can take the exam that's in My Math Lab, the one that's on the computer. And so what you'll do is that they'll set you up. You'll go to a computer, you'll log in, and then they'll type in the password that gives you access to the exam. So you do not have access to that password. You do not have access to the exam at all until you go into the assessment center. One of those, the people who work in the assessment center, will come put the password in for you so that you can start your exam. Your other option is you can take a paper test if you want to. I have both options there. So if you like to work on paper, you're not enjoying the My Math Lab, whatever, you can go take a paper test. If you take a paper test, you can have the scratch paper. There's plenty of room usually on my paper test for you to do your work there. They will scan it to me. I will grade it. You'll get your grade back within a few days. Then if you're working in My Math Lab, so your grade will probably pop up at the end of the test, and that's okay. Don't freak out or anything, because I will also go back and give you extra credit for problems if you have used my scratch paper, which is going to look something like this. So I will give you a piece of, or I will have this available, a piece of paper, and if not, then you need to set it up like this so that I can read them, because if I can't read them, I'm not going to grade them. But it'll be something like this. It'll be set up. So it's going to be marked off. So if you need some paper to work a problem with, then you're going to work a problem in this box. You're going to label. It will say problem number up here, and you're going to say this is problem number 2 or whatever. And you're going to sit here and you're going to do all the work, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to box your answer at the end. And then, okay, you don't need any help on number 3. You got it. Number 4, you got it. You might need some help on number 5. So you're going to come over here and say, this is problem number 5. So that I know that I'm going to look at your scratch paper here for problem number 5. That way, if you've set up the problem right, if you did everything correct, but you maybe didn't put your negative sign when you actually put it in My Math Lab, My Math Lab's going to count it wrong. But I'm going to say, oh, you just missed the negative sign, so I'm giving you some points for that, or whatever. Okay, then the next one, I might need help on problem number 6. I might need help on or not help, but I might need to show my work on all these. You want to show your work on every single problem, you go right ahead. I'm going to grade them based off what's on here. But if I can't read it, I am not going to search for it and grade it like that. They've got to be labeled clearly. So problem numbers and boxed answers with all your work in between on this scratch paper. If you need multiple sheets of this, I think the tests are about 20 questions. So if you need, 3-4 pieces of paper, it'll be front and back. So you can use as many as you want to. You can raise your hand in the assessment center. They'll come out there and ask you what your question is, or you can walk outside. In most of them, I think you can walk outside and ask them a question real quick and then, go back to your computer, just open the door and do it. But you cannot leave the assessment center in the middle of a test. So make sure you've used the restroom and all that kind of stuff before you go in. So I hope this is clear. They're going to send me your scratch paper. I will compare your scratch paper to MyMathLab if you've taken it in MyMathLab, if you've taken the test there, or I will grade your paper test the exact same way. They'll send me the whole paper test. They'll send me all your scratch paper that should be set up like this also if it's needed, and I will grade those, and then your final grade will be within a couple of days of your actual test that you took. So just know that I do look at those and I do give you partial credit as needed. But just to review that you needed to go to this. You have to go to the assessment center one way or the other. Make sure you do that review in D2L, and then make sure you bring your ID and your MyMathLab login credentials into the assessment center with you. So if you have any other questions, please ask them in Slack, and we'll see how our test goes, and that way we'll know at least what to expect. So thanks, guys. See you later.